How's it going, everybody? Cartha here. Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Freedom. Sorry if I sound a little bit different today. I think I've got a bit of a cold, more of a sore throat, but cold nevertheless. It's also been a month since the last episode, which I'm sorry about that. But again, I did mention last time I was supposed to be working on AI. I've done that a little bit, and I also kind of wanted this to go out yesterday, but that's alright. To start off with today, I have made a little addition. I'm circling this guy for a reason. Addition to the sequencer, which was a much needed one with the way that this all works. This is not the guy that I want, but it's fine. If we just make this actually, I won't make it bigger because I'll screw everything up. If I can remember the buttons to move things around. I added a new node called the Start Change node, which just, comes off a connection as any other node and allows the connection of where the start node is to be changed during runtime. It doesn't save it, so if we were to close and open it again, everything it runs back through. But it can be hooked up to any current active node that is in here. So we could go from this chat node to, say, the wait node for whatever reason. And as you can see, all the nodes have also, the exception of that node, which doesn't need one, have all been named and numbered, so you know exactly what the node would be connecting to. But anyway, I will show that in a little demonstration with this guy if I bring him back. And he does have a different name, good. More on that in a bit. Another thing I want to go and quickly talk about is Golduck. I recently watched the first episode of this series, and I mentioned that I was going to have Empoleon as my water Pokemon, and I kind of forgot about that. And there was actually a very good reason that I wanted him, but for the cases of what this is going to aim to be, I actually don't need Empoleon anymore. To put it bluntly, I was going to have him for sliding, because some Pokemon would also be able to, slide down mountains or grass or snow, which was the primary reason. So on to the main changes that I have made during the last month. The first one that is worth noting is we might as well go into play for this, because it'll be shown off better, and those who are very perceptive will know that Golduck has disappeared. Is I have changed the movement system from a code-based system to an animation system, so there's no more sliding of the movement. I've also tweaked Umbreon's walking and running animations ever so slightly, and it looks so much better. I hadn't realized how much he was actually sliding around before, obviously because I've just got blank colors instead of actual textures on the ground here. But even going back to watching the old ones, just seeing him move around, and now there's a huge difference. But the main reason I had this change was because of the AI. So the way the AI moved, it was based around technically the player's got one too, the Navmatch agent, which meant they had a different speed no matter what I put in for the walk and run speed here, which has also changed for more reference reasons. So it meant that when they were following the player, as I can demonstrate here, I can't actually demonstrate, but they follow me now, and he won't catch up to me, he won't fall behind. He gets to a certain distance away and he'll start sprinting like I do. And he'll just walk up. Oh look, I'm in walking distance now, which is cool because he will follow me pretty much anywhere that I can go, which is also wherever he can go, because the player is bound by the Navmatch agent as well. So if I run up here, I can jump off the edge, which was fun to get working, because if you would have paid attention, which I'll do it again anyway. See, he's coming right down here. He's turning circles wide on purpose. So if you watch the Navmatch agent here, when I jump, I could have just jumped, I didn't have to go off the edge, which I didn't. But when I jump, I turn it off, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to leave the ground. I've also added bridges into this little island and the ones at the back. Oh, getting stuck. And as you can see, yeah, I can still push them a little bit or a lot. Haven't worked that out too much yet. Or haven't been worried about that too much yet. Anyway, we'll show the other node I showed off. So the start moving node, I'll show you the code for, not the code, but the sequencer for this afterwards. So he just says, moving start node. I'm talking to this guy. I don't need to talk to both of you. You need to go away. I don't even know if this is going to work. You might get a little lost. But he went to the house, so it's actually the wrong place to send him. But you have seen that he went to a house. I'm skipping ahead. And he says now success. So if I just jump out of this to keep things consistent, not really considering I sent the other Umbreon into the house. If we just quickly check on his sequencer, you can see the start node is not connected to success at all. And this is what the start node here is for. Occasionally the actual words up here, letters, disappear. Might be because this is old as well, but that's fine. Anyway, so now to the mysterious disappearing Golduck and the Umbreon that went into the house. The other thing I've been working on is the transferring of both the player and NPCs into other maps. Although, considering so far, it's just the one map. I've set it up to do maps, kind of. It'll probably need tweaking. But I've done it for sitting into houses. Actually, no, scratch that. I've done it for both. I just haven't tested it for maps yet, which I shouldn't have to. Anyway, let's click on little Umbreon here. And you'll see there is a new thing in the NPC. There we go. New drop down box, which is called location. And so far, I've got Pikachu's house because this is technically Pikachu's house here. And yeah, Panario Pikachu's house. And Umbreon location is set to Panario, while Umbreon, who is called Switcher here, is been set to Pikachu's house. And as you would have seen down here, because I'm great at not hiding things, I do have another map. So if we jump over here, I should probably save things there. We have this monstrosity of what is a temporary house, because temporariness is temporariness. And we have an Umbreon and a Golduck. We will come back to here in a moment. So let's just go through the house and see what's happened. And it's pretty much instant, which is good. I tested it in a build as well, which made me figure out that my entire sequencer thing was kind of not ready for builds, which I have met. So I've walked into him and now he's leaving. And again, people that will have noticed, Umbreon is not in here. But Kaito, I hear you saying, you just went into the map and Umbreon wasn't there. That's because the Umbreon that was in the house is this Umbreon right here. So now if I go talk to him, send him into the house, and as we've sent Golduck out here, and run back into the house, Umbreon is still Umbreon. Golduck is missing and Umbreon is now in here. I think I have to talk to you. No, I didn't set you up. So one thing we can do with these guys at the moment is I can push him through the door. And that works. It's not supposed to, well, it's not that it's not supposed to work, but when I can't push them, that won't be an issue. And Golduck can just go run back inside. And we should probably send you inside too, because it can. So, how have I managed this? Well, I believe last time we had a game manager. Now, we have an NPC manager as well, which keeps track of the current location that we are in. So this should change if it stays selected. Yep. Which is good. And also, if we quickly open it up and I go to the thing I need to do, it also has a dictionary of all the NPCs and their location. So the string is their name, and location is their location. And that's why I was saying before that the name that's up here is important. So Golduck here is called Golduck Switcher. In Pikachu's house is also called Golduck Switcher here. So if they had different names, they would be considered different Golducks. And we can probably break this by just adding a 1 to his name here. So he is set to be in the house. Why shouldn't I hit play? There's no setup for that to be here. Also, the player is not in the scene anymore because of I've lost it. That's the text manager. That's not what I wanted. The game manager. The game manager now spawns the player and the camera. So, yeah, that'll be in the starting scene, and then it won't be really needed ever again because it stays between scenes. Obviously, seen by the do not destroy down here. I don't think I mentioned that last time. I should have. So, Golduck is... I've broken this. Hang on. No, that's fine. So, Golduck is not out here. There will not be an Umbreon in here either. But if I make him walk, we will make him disappear forever. So he's not out here. Be like, wait, no, but then he should be in here then, right? If I can get through the door. No. So the naming of the object is important, and that must stay consistent between scenes. So that way I can have the same Pokemon or character, better yet said, through multiple scenes. So I've just fixed Golduck up again. But one thing worth of noting is it matters the order in which you interact with the Pokemon. Not necessarily interact, but the scene that they're in. So this Umbreon here is actually set to be in here first. But because he has the same name, Umbreon clone, as the one, so I'm going to have to save the scene, as the one out here. If I can find him. This one is the one that gets loaded in first. So his name and location gets updated to be Panario. So if he wasn't here, so if I technically, we do it this way, so I'll just turn him off. So if we do that, so he's turned off, he's now in here. And if I were to send him this Umbreon out there, he won't appear because we've obviously turned the game object. Actually, maybe, because technically I'm turning the game objects off in the first place. Let's see. Oh, no. Yeah, no, he's not out here because it's not turned on. So the way that works is in the NPC script themselves. Remembering how I did things. They will check against the NPC manager first of all, if they exist. If they don't, they will be added into the NPC's actual list of all the NPCs and update or set their location. But if they do exist, feel like they need to check whether or not they spawn. Which we just go into this. It's pretty much taking their name and double checking their location with the current location and that the NPC script is in. So the reason the Umbreon in here didn't load after we turned him off is simply because we turned him off. All NPCs need to be in the scene and active because they turn themselves off. So that's how that works, with a little bit more information that I sort of left out. And I think with that, that's about all the time I have for today. Also, it's pretty much everything that I've added in. As far as I remember, I don't think I've forgotten anything. But one little issue I would have had regardless. Well, I also want to show one cool little thing off at the end. If we get little Umbreon to follow you. So, cool, interesting thing to note. Golduck is faster walking than Umbreon. As you can see, he's slightly getting further away. Once we start running, Umbreon is now faster. So, through the different species, this following is going to be different and will be interesting. So if a Pokemon's faster than you, they will keep up with you. But if this were the other way around, which that'll take a little bit to set up, so I won't actually be doing that now, they will fall behind. And if we just restart this, I don't have to do it that way, but it's safer. You've seen these guys over here. So if I grab this guy to follow me, I don't remember which way around it is. It is that way. I can have these guys follow me in a conga line. So this Umbreon is obviously following me. If we stop, this one is following this guy, and that one is following this guy. So we have a little conga line. I initially had it set up so they were all just following me directly, but then it gets a bit iffy once they get all close because that hasn't been sorted out. But yeah, I basically made, the RPG following system. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And they, like before, if I go off a ledge, they all freak out and try and run down here, which with their turning circles being bad, oh no, you might not make it down here. Might have jumped off a little too close. Oh no, he got there. He got there. Cool. Another thing you might have noticed is that they prefer to run on the paths if they can, which is a little nav mesh thing that they've done. So if we quickly look at that, paths are now pink. I don't remember if I did this last time or not. I don't think I did. And they have a higher weight, so we just go in areas. Paths or they have a lower weight. My bad, I did it the other way around. So paths are a weight of 1, while all the blue is a weight of 5. I'll probably be tweaking that as time goes on. I thought he was white for a second there, to make things work better, but it's pretty good. To make an example of that, I think I have to reset this guy's locations very, very quickly. Transform 1. Where is the other transform? There. So even though it says house, it'll be fine. Oh, I meant to close that before I hit play. I probably broke everything just then. No, I didn't. I think I added a failsafe into that, actually. We shall find out. So if we send him to house, that should be over that way. Oh, you're not following. Why are you not following? Oh, okay, he got in the road. So, interesting little thing that I added is if they're going to run into a character while they're not following you, they will avoid them. Otherwise, he would have just ran straight into me and pushed me all the way over here. So last little thing before we go for today. Send him off to the lake. As you know, so you'd be following the path. So technically the shorter route is to run around here, which is where he would have gone if it wasn't for the paths having a lower cost, is what they're called. So he's up there running around the path. Again, doesn't run through there, which is kind of what I want, because there's eventually going to be stuff there. And he just follows the path all the way down. So yeah, he's a good boy. He follows the rules. He follows the path. This block is still up here. Eventually I'll do a cleanup in here once everything's all running well and good. But anyway guys, that is indeed all the time I have for today. I hope you enjoyed sort of seeing the progress that I have made. Next is to still continue with the AI. Yeah, I know I'm hitting Control S while flying. It is a problem. Yeah, still not. I want to work on the AI, but I'm not too sure where I'm going to go next. So AI, I would like to work on next, but who knows if I'll end up working on it. So yes, before I go, one last thing that I actually might work on, so everything else is still working the same, swimming and flying, is actual changing the swimming and flying controls. Well, he's a bit slow there. Don't you swim on the ground. I'm not supposed to do that. I want to change the controls of flying so it's more, you would point up and down rather than forward, backwards, so more plane-like, I suppose. And same with swimming. And whether or not I do that before the next video, who knows? But anyway, that is all for today. Now that I have remembered everything, hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to stick around and see some more. And I shall see you guys next time with the next update. But until then, bye.